good afternoon, good morning, good evening, happy midnight. If you're on a midnight snack, Indies is mine of choice if I had to have one. I'm your host, Brendan Bailey at the Bay Area, and maybe I got some kinfolk here with me today. I don't know. I'm joined by the leader of Reach, so you can reach all your dreams. If it was a bad 80s movie, that would be a good one, right? That would be like a good tagline. But anyway, I'm here with none other than Dr. Geoff Bailey. Maybe with cousins, I don't know. In America, anything's possible these days.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Wouldn't doubt it, yeah. Thank you for being here, my brother. I appreciate you.
You know it.
I appreciate you. So we're gonna dig into some of his success story and all of the ways that his illustrious teammates and himself are allowing our UofL students to dive into their own success stories with all of the resources and tools that are happening at Reach. So let's dive right into it, my good brother. So tell us what were some of the stops in your path of success prior to landing at the University of Louisville?
It was kind of a circuitous thing. I didn't expect to work in higher ed.
Yeah.
Yes. I was pre-med bound. Actually thought I was going to be an orthopedic surgeon or
Wow.
physical therapist.
Okay.
Yeah, and being the overachiever that I am, I took a few internships, 4 in a year.
You took 4 internships.
Took 4 internships during my bachelor's.
Aggressive.
It was. And figured out very quickly that's not how I wanted to help people.
Yeah.
So as I tease, I had my midlife crisis at 21.
Yeah.
So before my senior year, I'm like, crap, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
You know, because we didn't have necessarily the same academic supports and people in college back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
But I did have good mentors. And the housing director was my supervisor, and she said, you know, it's okay that you don't know what you want to do when you grow up. I'm still figuring this out myself.
Yeah.
And she said, you know, you ought to think about working in a college or university. I'm sure I said something witty like, you can do that?
Right, yeah.
But, you know, she pointed me in the right direction and helped me understand the pathway to work and help serve students. And I was already involved as a student leader.
Yeah.
I was an RA, I was on hall council, I'd been an admissions tour guide, a parent panel speaker, did all these different leadership roles, but I didn't put the connections together.
Yeah.
And that was my gateway into working in higher ed. And went into housing, student affairs, doing student conduct work, leadership work, first year experience courses.
Yeah.
And then made that shift into academic affairs. TRIO was my first gateway.
TRIO.
Into academic. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Loved it. Student, support services at UNC Greensboro.
Yeah.
Was where I cut my teeth in learning centers and learned what it meant to really support the students' academic lives, and not just their psychosocial lives.
Yeah.
So worked at a few different institutions. I'd been at a small private college in Pennsylvania for 3 years doing housing, Virginia Tech for 2.
Okay.
UNCG for 13 after I'd done my grad work there.
Yeah.
And then did my PhD while I was working. And then came here back in 2014. So I've been about 32 years in higher ed now.
Yeah.
So,
32 years. You've seen a lot of different changes, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah, a lot.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
You know, amazing students and how much we've transformed the environments to democratize education.
Yeah.
Make sure everybody's got a chance. And I think that's the power that higher education really, manifests for students.
For sure.
You know, it doesn't have to be just the rich kids.
Right. It shouldn't be.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. Well, where was undergrad for you?
Small college called Guilford. I decided I wanted a small college environment. I went to a small Catholic high school. I did not want to play D1 sports.
Yeah.
Had grown up in that kind of competitive area, but I had a friend or two who had gone to college ahead of me and talked about just how rigorous, time commitments were. I just didn't want that.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a college student and have free time. So I chose a small environment very specifically for that. And North Carolina had been home in many ways because my grandparents had been there in Chapel Hill. So I knew the layout and just felt at home there. And that was the most important decision I'd ever made. Choose a college where I felt at home.
Yeah. And now there's a healthy 20-ish thousand or so students that call University of Louisville home.
Yeah.
Traditional, non-traditional, veterans, online, and REACH is helping students on a regular. Tell folks who don't know, what is REACH exactly?
So REACH is the university's centralized learning center. So what that means is we provide the academic supports for students to be able to get through their classes, to understand and really dive deep into their course content, especially at 1 and 200 level where they're making that transition into college, studying their major courses for the first time. It's learning how to study, how to budget your time, how to develop some of those executive functioning skills that are going to make you an effective student and an effective citizen. You know, because employers are looking for these skill sets. They're going to expect when you graduate that you've got good communication skills. You can budget your time effectively. You don't need somebody to handhold you, that you can be a critical thinker. And those are some of the skill sets that we dive deep into when you come in and use our services.
Yeah. So aside from the popular tutoring services for every class on campus, just about?
Not quite. That'd be a lot.
You know,
but a lot of them, right?
Yeah.
We focus really in the transition classes.
Yeah.
So what we think of as 100, 200 classes, some 300, but mostly for STEM, right? Because that tends to be where the highest demand is and where we have students struggling the most. So we focus our energy and our time and our resources on those kinds of classes.
Yeah. And you also provide a variety of workshops throughout the year as well, right? Some things in the summer. What are some of those programs that students can take advantage of?
One of the things that I really love about U of L is that we care about their holistic transition to and through the university. So we start off with summer bridge programs, especially around math.
Yeah.
Because that becomes such a central focus for students as they make that gateway into the college or university environment. And so we focus in on building those skill sets and making sure that they feel adequately prepared for their first math class. We did it for about 6 years with students who struggled with math. They came through for our accelerator program. Funding issues were, a bit of an issue. So right now that program's on hiatus. We're trying to get that funding back. In the meantime, we've been doing a robust job supporting engineering students. Those programs are already paid for, which is nice. And so we're helping them develop those critical skill sets in algebra and reviewing materials that they're going to need for Calc 1 as they transition into the college or university, right? And apart from the traditional tutoring services we provide, academic coaching is a huge boon to students because you're talking about, hey, how do I figure out, how to navigate the bureaucracy? How do I understand how to study? And not just go through the motions, right? I don't want to just read a textbook like it's a Harry Potter book.
Right.
That's not going to help. So we teach them how to develop those skill sets, what it means to actually engage in your studies and not expect that the professor's just going to dump that knowledge in your head. That's not the way it works. You do the bulk of your work outside of class, not in that 30, 50-minute lecture. That's not going to accomplish much. So we're teaching students how to do that. What are the skill sets that are going to help them commit that information to long-term memory and recall it accurately? So we pull a lot of different information from different disciplines, cognitive psychology, the neuroscience of learning, because we want to make sure students understand. And we don't do a lot of theory, right? Not for them. We understand that, but we're trying to provide them practical skills that they
practical application.
Yeah, absolutely. That they can use right there on the spot. That doesn't feel like it's all that hard. We use a peer model, right? Because the reality is, I'm at a point in my life where I look like most people's dads. They don't want to come to me for that. And I've got, a PhD, so I'm going to be scary to them. We want to make sure that they're working with fellow students because they have that bond together, a shared experience. We want to make sure that they feel comfortable. Peers can build that trust because they're going through that shared experience. It's easier for them. They're more relatable. And I think that helps ensure that they're going to walk away with the knowledge and the skill sets that they need. And that's proven not just, in the experiences they have. I mean, this is backed up by all the data we have. No students earn better GPAs. They're retained better when they come through and use our services. And we look at the students who don't. And they don't thrive. They don't do as well. And these services are free. It's covered by, in essence, state funds. Why not take advantage of it? You and I, man, when we're coming through, we didn't have that.
Not at all. I was reaching by myself.
Pretty much.
Not far either.
No. And half the time, when, you were asking, folks for help, it was from somebody who wasn't trained, who didn't know the subject as well.
Correct.
You might have been paying your friend beer or pizza money in hopes they knew what they were doing. And that was not the case.
Hope.
No. Hope.
Let down a lot of times.
Absolutely.
I promise you.
Yeah.
If you are not, here's my plea that I'll make. If you are not engaging with Reach and you're having an issue or issues around whatever the subject matter is, it's okay. In 2025, places like Reach are designed and are here on purpose for you to thrive, not just survive, right? So there's no shame in asking for a tutor or an additional tutor or 5 tutors. I went through 3 tutors in a couple of weeks for math. I barely passed, so thank God for those 3, right? But it's okay to ask for help, and they're here and they want to help.
Well, and I think that's the new norm, right? And that's been the case for, well, especially our college students' lives, right? Mm-hmm. This isn't about, tutoring specifically because that's where the stereotype is. It's for the kids who are struggling, who don't thrive or succeed. And that's not the case. The ones who come through and use our services, 3.0, 3.5 and above.
Yeah.
They get it. They want to reinforce and make sure that they've got this content down.
Yes.
And that they can perform.
Yes. And maintain scholarship criteria.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Be competitive for campus leadership positions. Keep that scholarship, right? Be qualified for a co-op or an internship. Make sure that they're competitive for a job when they get closer to graduation.
Yeah.
The workshops that we do impart some of those skills. And there's self-help ones, right? It's built into Blackboard, learning management systems. They don't even have to go anywhere. It's not like the old days where we had to bribe somebody to come, slice of pizza.
Yeah.
That's not they want that 24/7 convenience. So we put it right out there for them. They're engaging, they're dynamic. It's going to be attractive and appealing to them, and it's practical.
Yeah.
That's the part I love.
Yeah.
If it's doesn't feel practical to a student, they're not going to do it.
Speaking of practical application, Dr. Bailey, we are in this new-ish Center for Belonging, Access, and Engagement.
Great space.
Great space. Thank you. And under a former name in years past, we were in a similar location.
Right.
Not as glitz and glammy, but still very effective. How do you foresee us in the Center for BAE expanding our partnership or collaborative efforts with REACH?
I think one of the most crucial things is norming the fact that these services are for everybody, right? It's not just students who are struggling, right? That's not the case. This is for everybody. And this is the best way to be able to help boost your GPA and feel like I'm confident going into my classes.
Yeah.
I think the other piece is we are very intentional about trying to ensure that we recruit peer tutors, peer coaches who look like the students that are coming to campus.
Yeah.
So we actually have greater representation from what we call currently our minority students, right? So African American, Black, right? Hispanic, Latino, Asian American. Those populations are more greatly represented than the actual numbers of students who enroll at the university. So let's say, for the sake of argument, the African American population is 13% here, right? So our population that's employed as student, tutors and coaches is like 16%, right? We do a lot of outreach. We do a lot of, work to ensure that students feel like this is representative of our student body.
Yeah.
They're not just coming to work with somebody who looks different from them. We have a huge LGBT presence among our staff. We want people to feel comfortable and feel like this is, a safe place, an inclusive place for them to come and receive the help that they want. A non-judgmental zone.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether they're struggling or whether this comes naturally and they're just reinforcing some of these concepts. We want to make sure that no matter what, everybody has a good experience.
Yeah.
So I think, keeping that relationship going is critical for us. Making sure that we stay on top of our game. And that's not just, the contacts with faculty. It's making sure that we know what the students are experiencing.
Right.
Asking for their feedback and their input because we make changes to ensure that our services are reflective of what they need, what their realities are.
Yeah.
Making sure that the way we train our tutors, our coaches, is something that, embodies, the principles, of UofL and inclusivity. We're not going to worry about, what the legislators are doing per se in terms of, House Bill 4 and all. Our reality is we have to welcome everybody.
Right.
And we bend over backwards to make sure that our staff are appropriately trained so that, we're fostering that kind of environment. That's critical to us.
Yeah.
And it's critical to our professional staff and our grad staff too.
Yeah.
Because they play an important role. I play such a small role. My job is to make sure that I find the resources that our team needs to deliver the services.
Yeah.
So if anything, I'm on the bottom.
Gotcha.
That's where I need to be. My team, my students, they're on top.
Yeah.
They're the ones we got to focus in on.
Yeah. And you mentioned sports earlier. You sound like a coach. You sound like a coach.
I have done some.
Yeah. So it translates perfectly.
Yeah, it does. You know, and I think one of the things that coaches do, they're a guide on the side.
Yeah.
Right. They can give that tough love, but they're also nurturing, right? We want to shepherd people in the right direction and make it a little bit easier for them. Give them the guidance and, suggestions and advice that are going to help them thrive without having to necessarily go through some of the, the mistakes that we did.
Yeah.
Hopefully, right?
Yeah.
But the other piece is empowering them to own their education and to feel like this is something that I can do on my own, that I'm building self-confidence in my subject, in my own skill sets, and belief in myself, right? Mm-hmm. So if they're coming here and they're feeling a little bit of imposter syndrome about, hey, is college the right place for me? Do I belong here? Can I thrive and be successful? And our answer is always yes, absolutely so. Even if they're starting at a position where they're struggling with some of their skill sets, we can help build those up. Yeah. Everybody can thrive and do well. And we're going to do what we need to ensure that they're successful and meet their goals. Not my goal. Yeah. It's about my goal, your goal, that student's goal. If it's just to graduate, not a problem. If they want to thrive in a particular way, we're going to help them achieve that. We're going to work with campus partners to make sure that happens. Right. If I'm not sure of something, I'm going to call my resources and call my people and make sure that I know, hey, what do we need to do to adjust? Mm-hmm. Whether it's our services, our hours, things like that, to ensure that the students feel like they're getting the support that they need while they're here at UofL.
And speaking of, and you all do a wonderful job of that, have for years. Speaking of support, working across silos, across campus, what is one thing that you would like for the world to know about the work that we do here in the Bay?
That it's for all students, right? Because we tend to think of Bay, I think, stereotypically as serving, our minority student population. Yeah. When the reality is, this is a human experience, right? And we want to make sure that all of our campus community, so students, faculty, staff, see this as an inviting and inclusive place, that it's a resource for us all to learn from one another. We're never going to always get it right. I mean, that's not a reality. That the human experience means we're going to screw up at times. Being inquisitive, asking, and you and I have talked about this on several occasions. Yeah. Being willing to learn, to reach out and to say, hey, let me understand what your experience, your lived experience is. Yeah. And how can I be an ally? How can I help support you in your journey? Yeah. That's critical.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, friend. Yeah.
Anytime.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Here again with Dr. Bailey, who is the head coach of REACH at UofL. She gave you a new title.
I like it.
And a lot of people are winning their proverbial academic championships because of REACH. And the collaborators that are there, the peer-to-peer mentoring that happens there. We know research says that, students learn more amongst peers oftentimes than only engaging the instructor, right? And so REACH has developed a well-oiled machine that is embodying all of the things practical as well as theoretical. Thank you all for all the work that you do over there.
Yeah. And it's our privilege. This is why we serve in these roles. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're not doing it for the money. None of us are. We're doing it because we care. We want to make a difference in students' lives. Yeah. That's the most important thing. And, if we don't have the resources here at UofL, you and I and the rest of the community, we're going to figure out, where do we get those resources from? Yeah. Who do we go to in terms of foundations or other places that see the value of what we do so that we can ensure that no student's going to be left behind. That we're going to help them figure out their journey and get them to that finish line.
Absolutely. Yeah. One last question before we get you out of here, and we have to traverse back through the wintry weather on this day. This is December 4th, 2025, actually, and so it feels like 25 outside. If there were just one person in our UofL family that you could have in this hot seat on the Bay Area. Ooh. Student, staff, faculty, executive suite, alum, who would you say you would like to see here?
Oh, Katie Cardarelli, our new provost, Dr. Katie Cardarelli.
That's the second time.
Second time.
I'm coming for you.
She has been fantastic from day one that I met her, and she genuinely cares about students, cares about student success. And that language isn't just, lip service.
Yeah.
She is somebody who really espouses that. She's a servant leader.
She is.
And she believes in making sure that we appropriately resource the different areas around campus that deliver these kinds of support services.
Yeah.
Because that's critical to ensure that, again, we're not just focusing in on a limited, classroom experience. It's got to be holistic in nature, and it's got to be something that everybody buys into.
Yeah.
It's not just you or me that, has to believe in student success, the entire community. Think about, this. Students oftentimes, especially at a large school like us, they are not even walking into a building when they're starting a tour, right?
True.
They are walking around the grounds of the campus.
Yeah.
They might not get inside a building for the first 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So the groundskeepers play a critical role in beautifying the campus, making sure that that first point of contact when somebody's, figuring out, hey, where do I want to go to school?
Yeah.
That this sends a positive message of we, take value and take pride in our community, what it looks like. We've got a gorgeous campus for an urban, location.
Yeah.
Very few, I would say, compared to us.
Yeah.
And then, custodial staff, keeping the buildings clean, keeping it fresh and welcoming.
Yes.
The faculty who are trained to be better teachers, not just to understand their discipline, right? That content in a biology, chemistry, math, humanities class, whatever it is. But they understand, how do I reach and connect with a student? And even if I'm not an expert in that, who are the people in our community that we can call on to be able to help the students out? Again, that holistic nature. Dr. Cardarelli is fantastic about trying to empower that and change the campus environment for the positive, to resource us appropriately. And I fully, support her with that.
I'm on board with that. And that's the second time she's been mentioned. So, Dr. Cardarelli, 2026, you're going to be the pick. You got to get you in the seat, all right?
There you go.
And I really do understand everything you're saying about how she views that college experience. It's documented in her research discussing, health disparities for folks in rural communities. A lot of that mentality translates perfectly to, honestly, the approach that we have in our work in the Bay and Reach in making a welcoming community for all students. So
and changing lives.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, ultimately.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about getting that degree. It's improving their future outcomes.
Yes.
The amount of money that they can earn. Having the ability to be able to support their family, being a better, more knowledgeable, engaged citizen, which impacts everything from voting to understanding and paying taxes to being able to buy a home.
Yes,
all kinds of things in life that transcend just that college degree. That's the gateway to be able to do those things.
It is. It is, folks. I think we might have just heard the beginnings of the Bailey and Bailey podcast or something, because this could go on another 2 hours, honestly. But we have some students to support and some code to bear. So thank you for being with us today.
Yes,
I appreciate you, Doctor.
I appreciate you too.
Again, I'm Brandon Bailey, your host of the Bay Area. Please like, subscribe, share, and if you've never been in Reach or supported them, please
come on over.
Walk in there. Yeah. And we'll see you in 2026 for our second season of the Bay Area. It's our pleasure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right.